Kerala story releases next week, but its trailer has created quite a controversy. The trailer gives us a glimpse into what could be a very disturbing and at the same time thought-provoking cinema. And the producer is joining us live. Vipul Shah, really appreciate your time. And Adah Sharma is actually playing the lead role. She is the woman who she is the converted Muslim woman, Fatima Ba. Fatima Ba, Assalamu alaikum. Pehle mujhe apne bare mein bataiye. How was your experience before I bring in Vipul?
I'm Shalini Unnikrishnan here, firstly. So Fatima Ba will be for the film when people go to watch it on 5th May. Well, my experience was, I think I'm really fortunate I got to be part of this story and help bring awareness to so many girls out there. So I think, yeah.
Vipul, we have seen recently the entire controversy and the interest that has been there around Kashmir files. Do you see the Kerala story have the similar impact because this is a story which must be told?
I think controversy is not the right word, I would say, because there is no controversy. Some people are questioning some of the facts that we have shown in the film. And I think fair enough, everybody has got the right to question. Since it's a film which is about true story, since it's a film about so many victims, it's a film which is a very, very sensitive subject and a very important subject in our country. We are running a hashtag called Save Our Daughters. So obviously some people will find it, some of the facts they may feel that they need to get right answers. And I think that's perfectly fair and all right. As long as they are able to reason with us and we are able to reason with them. We can agree to disagree in our country and we can still make a film. So I'm seeing a lot of chatter on the social media, but I think those are questions and those questions are answered in the film. So I don't see any controversies per se. If somebody wants to take a political line on it, well, that's anyway beyond everybody's control, isn't it?
Vipul, there's a lot of criticism that has come from Muslim bodies in particular. They are all up in arms against this film. In fact, the Kerala government has also filed an FIR when the first trailer was released sometime last year. Now, are you sensing that it's when you tell a story which is so deeply polarizing, were you prepared for a reaction of this nature?
Yeah, I looked at it like this, that in Hindu society, Sati Pratha was a bad thing to do, right? So we as Hindus stopped it. So I believe if something wrong is going on in a particular part of the country or in a particular part of a society, I think it's incumbent on those people to correct it. That's my belief. That's my faith in everybody in this country. So when I made the film, I just wanted to bring awareness. I wanted to bring this very, very disturbing fact to the light. And actually, I'm really hoping that the right thing will be done when film is released and people will take action against those perpetrators. And that would be the right thing to do. And I think it's a duty of everybody to really go out there and stop this menace from happening. So when we were starting the film, yes, we had anticipated some amount of reaction because, somehow we don't want to face the facts. We want to somehow avoid dealing with them. And the easiest way is to discredit the film. It's easiest way to say, oh, it's a propaganda film, it's this, it's that, and rubbish it. But that segment is not going to be successful. When people will see the film, they will realize that what we are saying is really, really heartbreaking. And we need to save our daughters from this menace. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to come forward and take action against what's going on.
Adah, you've been taking to Twitter and other platforms, social media platforms, to share your views about your character and how the journey of this film has been in general. There is a number that has been talked about in the context of this film. You have claimed that more than 32,000, I mean, that is the claim that is coming from you, that more than 32,000 women were trafficked to fight for ISIS or have become victims of what has been an organized conversion. That data is being questioned.
So I will say something here. So the data, I have my truth and I have all the documents to show that where we have arrived is how we have arrived to this number. And there will be people who will always question, because that's the easiest way of discrediting a film, right? It's the easiest way of discrediting somebody because you get lost into the debate of numbers. The real issue here is that are we going to get lost into the number game, or we are going to do something about this big issue, which is a big problem. I'll tell you a simple thing. The Chief Minister of Kerala, Mr. Achyutanandan, has in press conference announced that Kerala will turn into an Islamic state in 20 years' time. This particular clip that I'm talking about is available on YouTube, right? Mr. Oman Chandi on the floor of assembly has made statement about the number of conversions.
No, but at that time, because I knew you would be talking about it, that statement that was made by the then Kerala Chief Minister, Vipul, was in 2012. He told the assembly that 2,667 young women had converted to Islam between 2006 and 2012. Of these, 2,195 were Hindu girls and 492 were Christian girls. But the larger question is that this is still in thousands. You are talking about running in tens of thousands.
Yeah, so if you have to look at it from that angle, it's not 2,600. There is another article done by India Today where India Today, or maybe I'm getting the name wrong, but there is some news article which I can very happily show you, which talks about Mr. Oman Chandi talking about 7,800 girls, right? So if you extrapolate that number into 20 years, because he's talking about his term of 5 years, if you extrapolate that number into 20 years, official number will come to around 30,000, and unofficial number, people who don't file complaints that are not taken, huge. So just to say, to get these numbers verified, we filed an RTI. And we filed an RTI with the government of Kerala. And we got an answer to go and look for this particular speech of Mr. Oman Chandi on a particular website. I'm talking about just 3 months back. That website doesn't exist. So it was a RTI reply and that website doesn't exist. So now rest of it all is up to everybody's imagination. But apart from this, two chief ministers speaking about it, just imagine a situation, chalo, even if I take that argument that the number is not, say, 32,000, and if it is, the number is, say, 30,000, 28,000, 5,000, is it not a huge number? If you come to know a CM has declared on the floor of the house, and another CM is saying that we're going to turn into Islamic State, is it not a big number for somebody to take some action? That's why I'm saying that we get lost into the numbers.
Okay.
It's easy to discredit. So even if I go by saying, okay, our numbers are totally baseless, but let's assume the numbers that are put on the floor of the house, those numbers are correct. Are they not serious numbers? Are those many lives not important? So that is the real issue here, that we are getting lost in this unnecessary.
So let's talk about the larger concern here of love jihad conspiracy, which has been shown.
I would actually like to say something about the numbers. I actually find it really scary as a girl to hear numbers being thrown around like that and human lives being discussed as an arithmetic, like it's just a statistic, right? People talk about numbers like, oh, there are just 2,000 girls who were raped, or there were, 2,700. Oh, there were 31,798 girls who were raped, not 32,000. I find it really terrifying as a girl that numbers of girls being raped, murdered, impregnated, trafficked, human trafficked, send a suicide bombers. We are human beings talking about other human beings. And I've realized that every time we talk about numbers as a statistic, when it's not someone of our own, if it's our own mother, our own sister, I don't think then even one number matters a lot. Then if you say there are, it's like COVID. when there were 20,000 cases for 2,000 cases.
I agree with you, Adah.
One person
great
in your
degree of
house.
sensitivity that will be attached when you realize that they could be one of your own.
If one of your own, your aunt has COVID and she's on a ventilator, then you don't care. The cases have dropped by 200 also today. It doesn't matter, but your aunt is on a ventilator. One person, one case. But now it's somebody else. So you're saying at 2,000, 30,000, you can talk about it loosely like a number statistic. It's just scary that human lives have become just a statistic.
So tell me about your own research, because if we were to look at 3-4 facts that have been shown in this trailer, it talks about the love jihad conspiracy, then it talks about the issue of religious conversion, then the entire focus is on connection between Kerala and ISIS that has been shown, and also about radicalization. When you were shooting for this film, did you sense that there is that shift that is visible of Islamization of Kerala?
We actually met some girls also, and I went through they have done, Vipul and Sudipto have done extensive research on this. And when we went through it, it's scary. It's like you actually see the horror, and we met those victims as well. We met the girls. So yeah, I think, I don't know. I can't even explain it in words. I don't know if you can explain someone's experience like this in words. I hope the film does justice to it, because again, it's a visual representation in 2 hours. But to put it in words in a few sentences, I don't know how to do it without just selling it short and, just sounding frivolous. I don't know how to put it in words.
So just on
Yes.
that, I want to add something here that, when we met so many girls and we took their testimonies on videos and stuff like that. So when we started writing, every scene that you see in the film, if that's not happened to Shalini, it's definitely happened to somebody else. And that's why we are saying that based on many true stories, because every scene that is shown in the film has happened to somebody. And that is why this tragedy is so big. And that is why it's such an important subject for everybody to see and feel their pain.
Yes, because it's so disturbing perhaps, and when truth stares at us, the manner in which this film is showing, it's about life stories. And as Adah was pointing out, that these are real life testimonies that you had, which is being depicted by these girls in this film. These terms, Vipul, love jihad, narcotics jihad, in the context of Kerala has been spoken about in the past. I want to understand from you, what made you do a film of this nature?
Honestly, I feel when we give such names, love jihad or narcotics jihad, we are not doing justice to the pain of those girls. So for me, it's a human tragedy. For me, when I read the material, when I met those girls, and when I went through everything, I was so shaken. I was so shaken that this actually is happening in our country, and most of us are not even aware of it. And I felt bad that I'm not even aware of something so huge happening in one part of our country. And look, it's not about the Kerala as a state. It's a heaven on earth. It's such a beautiful place. So it's not about Kerala. But this is happening in Kerala. So you can't just say that just because I have named the film Kerala Story, I'm blaming the entire Kerala. But it also, just because it's happening in Kerala, I should not call it the Kerala Story, was one of the arguments, which I think I feel that it's such a massive human tragedy. We should not name it anything else except human tragedy. Love jihad makes it trivial. People start saying, oh, it's a political term, so you are now trying to make a political use of a human tragedy. So that's not the right way to describe these girls' plight.
That's actually quite beautifully put there. And come to you, Adah. When you were interacting with those girls, they would have shared those chilling details of what their experiences have been. Have you managed to communicate that with all sincerity in the roles that you have played? And the role of other 3 girls, how was it like? Where did you all shoot? What was the preparations like?
How we've done it, I think I'd leave that to you and the audience when you watch the film. You watch it and you tell me what you thought of it. I would be wrong to judge how I thought I did it. I tried my best to do all the justice I could. When we met them, I even read some material that she had written, and I read it. I read it time and again. I read it again and again and again, sometimes just to see. And I was like, these are the same things that we've done. This is the exact same thing we've shown in the film. That exact same thing this girl has gone through in real life. It's just that when I'm playing a character on screen, I can, even if it's a tough scene, even if we've cried our eyes out, and I can still come home, have a shower in my own house, sleep in my bed comfortably, safely, know that I won't be, I can wake up next morning and go to shoot for a film, which is, not real life. I can't even imagine what someone must have gone through when she's actually going through this in real life. But I hope you think we've done justice to it when you watch it. And the other girls as well, all of us. Yeah, I hope you like all of us.
So all four of you, how was it? Was it joint research and effort that went into it?
I really enjoy shooting with women. And I think this movie is all about women empowerment and girl power. I think it'll also empower a lot of girls. I was getting messages on social media saying that, you've done this brave thing. Now even I have the guts to do this, this and this, and I'm going to come out and say my story and stuff like that. So I hope this movie will empower a lot of girls, and it'll, for me, it's a female empowerment story. And for people who say, we don't feel bad, these girls have made these mistakes, their fault. I think even if you don't feel bad, maybe there's something to learn. Sometimes you learn from other people's mistakes. You'd watch this movie, and I hope we can influence the minds of even few girls to think twice before making a mistake like that. Whatever religion and whoever you are, from wherever you are, if you're a girl who's falling in love with somebody, maybe think twice before. Just saying,
Just don't fall in love. Think about falling in love.
Think about what you're doing.
I strongly feel that please fall in love. Love is a beautiful thing, and every person must experience it.
But Vipul sir, you have to think 2 times before.
You just need to be careful, because you don't know if the other person is in genuine love or he is trying to trap you. You just need to ensure that. That's all. Otherwise, love is a beautiful thing. Otherwise, if we start scaring people from falling in love, then the message is wrong.
That's not caution.
Caution, yes. But then I think caution, even today's time, is, in your marriage, in your friendship, everywhere, you need to be slightly cautious.
So, how about the idea of faith? We are talking about faith here, and faith is a very personal space. But when faith becomes a subject of discussion that we are seeing, the manner in which it has become, many would say the criticism of this film is primarily because it is about faith. It's about that religious belief or a system that you are challenging.
See, I think we have just made a film which is a true story of 3 girls who suffered so much in their life. And if the perpetrators were from a certain faith, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sugarcoat it and say, I won't talk about what faith they belong to? Then I would be doing injustice to those girls. And again, we are talking about a particular faith. We should be talking about the victims. We should be talking about them. And if the perpetrators believed in a certain faith, they will be named. And I think anybody who does anything in the garb of a faith has to be exposed and has to be punished. There is no, a faith cannot be a refuge. It cannot be the reason for you to not be exposed. Rather, that should be the reason why you should be exposed, not just by us, by everybody from their faith itself, and put them behind bars, punish them, and show that your faith is wonderful.
You think there is a need, this is a question to both of you, for a larger debate on religious conversion? Because that's a truth, it's a reality, but in many ways, because it's such a political hot button, it is touched upon only at particular times, and otherwise you realize, don't touch it, don't talk about it, but it exists.
See, I won't be able to, in a way, understand why a certain political behavior would happen, but I feel in a country like us where we have so many faiths living together, a certain amount of debate and certain amount of awareness would only go to, reduce the tensions that emerge after such things come to light. After this film, there will be a certain amount of discussion for sure. And I feel if there is a certain larger debate and certain things are changed or certain things are somehow put in practice, it would only build more faith between everybody and we can live better life together. That's the point. So I think, yes, a larger discussion should happen. But in this case, at least I feel that before that discussion, all these people who are involved in this manipulative conversion should be put behind bars and they should be punished severely without doubt.
Is this a work of fiction? Is it a documentary? How would you describe it yourself?
I think it's a true documentation of true lives in a very cinematic way, which is going to move you, which is going to shake you, and which is going to make you part of their lives. But at the same time, it will be it's going to be a terrific cinematic experience.
And Adah, is this the new Indian cinema, which is turning out to be hard-hitting, realistic, and is not shying away from showing the mirror, even though it may be very, very disturbing?
I think that's how cinema should be, right? Cinema is the freedom of expression. So whether it's real and hard-hitting, whether it's fun and frivolous, whether it's song and dance, whether it's fictional or whether it's reality and it's true fact-based, everyone's expression should be allowed equally. So if that person has the right to say it, this person should have equal right to say it. And then it's up to the audience what they want to watch and all. No? We live in a free country, and I'm so glad we have freedom of thought now after doing a film about women who are not even allowed to have freedom of thought. I appreciate that we all have that here, and I think we should respect everyone's freedom of thought. Let everyone make a lot of films and let films flourish.
And, Vipul, because I was preparing for this interview and I was going through multiple Supreme Court judgments, we had seen what happened in the case of Hadya. I'm sure you would have also come across it while researching for this film. And there has been a lot of debate around the term itself. The Supreme Court had also talked about in the Lily Thomas versus Union of India case with regards to religious conversion and marriages. Why is it that it remains so clouded in confusion?
The reason for that is because part of it is coming from the girl's perspective. She's in love, and by the time she realizes, when this case comes to light, at that point of time the girl is too much in love, so she is not ready to understand or accept that there is something that has been done to her which is not correct. So the case happens and the judgment comes out. Maybe sometime later, not in every case, I must say, but in some cases they realize that they were trapped. By then it's too late because the judgment has come. So because it's dealing with human emotion, and most importantly, the girl who is in deep love with that guy, it depends on her testimony. So that is why it's always going to be a gray area. And that's why it requires a very, very, very nuanced and very detailed discussion.
The trailer, Adah, is also talking about this entire hijab debate that has happened only recently. It has also talked about certain Muslim clerics who have been shown instructing some boys to trap girls from the majority community and from the Christian community in the name of love, and then converting for religion. Did you listen to similar testimonies while you were preparing yourself to play the role?
Yes, I did. And again, now we are not generalizing that every person who says wear a hijab. I just think it's a personal choice. And if you're not being drugged or if you're not being molested and then convinced that if you are molested, then you wear the hijab and then you won't be molested and that's why you should wear the hijab. If that's not the ideology behind you wearing the hijab and you're doing it out of your free will, then who are we to stand for people's personal choices? Like I said, freedom of we have freedom and we should all respect each other's. But like in the film, it's scary because this is an entire trap, manipulative setup where her friend tells her that. So I can't even imagine being in a situation where my friend is brainwashing me, because I'd be really vulnerable to my friends as a girl. I tell my friends my secrets. I share a lot of things with them. And then if that girl's going to use that against me and, find out the chinks in my mind and try to get in through them and then mess around with it and then convince me others, whatever stuff, then I think that's a little, that's very scary.
Thank you so much for your time, Vipul Shah. Wishing you all the best. And I plan to see the film on day one itself. Thank you so much for that.
I will wait for your message saying what you thought of the film.
I will certainly do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.